Yeah, good.
How's everyone in various parts of the world?
Warming my feet.
We'll have to just not talk about the weather for about 8 months. I
No.
think
Yeah.
it's a spectacularly beautiful day here.
It's nice outside, but it's getting chillier. I've just had a riding lesson, so I'm
Oh,
warm enough.
very cool. Okay, I think we got everyone in the room. So we've got the recording on. So welcome. I think this is an interesting chapter. I'll tell you why it's an interesting chapter. Sure. Will you just keep letting in people in, Kelly? Keep doing it. Cool. So I think this is an interesting chapter. The reason I say it's an interesting chapter is we've now come to the end of Wealth Going Global. It's the first time I've done the live course in 2 years. So that's now complete. And I will talk to that and if there's any questions about that in terms of that process. And I also think we're in a new phase because I've just done the event with Success Resources and a number of people there have joined on our program above Wealth Going Global, which is the Wealth Accelerator. And I don't know if they're joining us. They should be. They were invited. So if they're joining us, that'll be great. Obviously, we've got our usual community members from the Wealth Hackers and the Mastermind in terms of the journey. And I've got something I want to share with you. Hang on, I'm just going to mute everyone. Okay, so if you want to unmute, just go wild. It's easier than with background noise. And yeah, obviously we had our mastermind session. So some of the mastermind members, I feel like we haven't stopped talking to each other in terms of the process. But let's get started with Wealth Going Global. And sure. Okay, so I wanted to share with you, let me get up I'm on the wrong screen here. Let me just figure out which one I want to put you on. Okay, so you should be, I think you're on the right screen here. Are you seeing the Wealth University? Yeah. Okay, so just a reminder that for Wealth Going Global, you literally go down to here, Wealth Going Global 2025, and then we literally went through, so you should have all the modules here. So you've literally got right from the beginning, getting started, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5, module 6. We didn't do a Q&A after module 6 because if you remember, I went straight to the Wealth Weekend. And now we've got the bonus module, which is smart investing in terms of that process, basically. So you can see it there. Now, if you go down to this, which is the last one, everything's there. So you've got the video, I just tend to put the screenshots of what I think are the most important slides, just so it's easy and in one place if people want to read through it. Think of it like a little cheat sheet. So you can go through all the different slides, and then you come down to the bottom here, and it's always just got the homework. So you got the silver and then the gold in terms of that process. My strong recommendation, if you're not sure what to do, it's to be part of a community like this, what we're doing. So we've got the ongoing part. And then if you want to speak to Alex, you can do that. And then the summaries here. So this is something I'm pretty chuffed with, actually, because I've spent a lot of time, and it takes me a lot of time to do this. But every module, I have taken the time to go and transcribe it, summarize it, and then turn it into a cheat sheet. And so every single module has its own cheat sheet. And so you can basically go through and you've got all the different components to this week's cheat sheet in terms of, so you can see the 8 technology trends, the 8 societal trends, the 6 mega investment trends. So I've tried to do it very consciously that if someone wanted to go back and do a recap, they should be able to do it in a very short amount of time. So now every module actually has its cheat sheet that you can go through, basically. I also wanted to share something that I'm working on, and it's not finished yet. So let me just get it open for you. That's a pity. So let me show you what I'm working on here. I just wanted to, I'll share my screen again. So what I got, and by the way, hopefully I'm teaching you how to use AI in the same process here. So what I've done is last night I took all the workbooks, because now you've got all the different workbooks right from the beginning, module 1, 2, 3, the 2 module 4s, 5, 6, and the bonus module. And I said, create a fully comprehensive workbook for Wealth Going Global using the module summaries. Once this is complete, the entire course will now be complete. Anyway, it gave me the workbook, but I didn't download it. So anyway, let's take a look. You're seeing this real time. You never quite know what we are going to be looking at here. Oh, all it's done is add them together, I think. That's not much use. Oh well. Anyway, I will, as I said to you, I actually got too tired last night. It was too late. So I'm going to take workbooks and I'm going to turn them into, in all the cheat sheets, I'm going to turn them into workbook. So the Wealth Going Global actually has its own workbook. And then why I think that'll be useful is because someone who's done the course, let's just say, Shona, I just want to pick you, and it might be a year from when you did the course. You just want to check up. It's almost like having if there's however many there are there, I think there's 8, 9 of them. And if they're 2, 3 pages long, it's going to be a 20, 25 page book. But it should be logical. You should have each one of them, and you can just go, oh, countries, you can just go back to the important part, or oh, currencies, you can just go back to the important part. So that's been my intention. And you couldn't do this 2 years ago. Like, this is why I find the technology so interesting, because there's no ways I was going to go and write a summary document like 2 years ago. But nowadays it takes all the best stuff, puts in a summary document, and you got it. So that's really where we're at. I think to sort of summarize what we went through so let me just I've got to get the right screens here when I share. So I'm not 100% sure which one it is. Okay, so if you look at this white paper here, and I'm going to talk to this whole library that we built. I did share it last night with the mastermind members, but this is basically is the summary of what I went through now in terms of the bonus module for smart investing. So there's a massive shift that's happening around the world, and where the real value lies is when you see the intersection of trends. And so there's 8 technology trends. You can see what they are here: blockchain, cryptocurrencies, artificial intelligence, big data algorithms, quantum computing, virtual augmented reality, mobile adoption, connectivity, 3D printing, and Internet of Things. And then you've got 8 societal trends that are intersecting. So that's collaborative investing, rise of the emerging middle class, global diversification, the crypto trust layer, that's blockchain, the wealth democratization, gamification and education, hyper-personalization, and purpose and impact. So they are 8 trends which are intersecting. And then it talks a little bit about Wealth Migrate and the company we've been building for 12 years and why we believe that we are aiming directly at that intersection. And then finally, it's got the 6 mega investment trends, which comes from Garth Wellman and the family office. And there you've got anxious societies, infrastructure, technology, silver economy, millennial values, and climate and SDG. And then we go on to talk about how we've built the company for scale and why the opportunity exists. And then with the call to action is, if you're wanting to join our wealth movement in terms of that process. So I wanted to kind of wrap up with Wealth Going Global before I pivot and say, are there any questions? Is there anything that I can help with regards to the course on any module, anywhere, any questions? Not that I won't be here next Friday or the Friday after that, if someone wanted to ask, but just in terms of wrapping it up, and specifically this week, in terms of the bonus module, or possibly the week before with time, is there anything that I can help anyone with? Any questions? Let's go to the chat room. Okay, so Barker's boss. Okay. Nope. Okay, I don't see any questions coming through. So again, if you've got a question, you can just put up your hand and it'll show me on the reactions, or you can ask in the chat room. Okay. So I always find these Friday sessions Q&A interesting, because there's a lot less Q than there is A. But anyway, okay, let's pivot then. If that's just before I move on, specifically what I just said around the technology. So I very consciously, when we built the course, the first 6 modules, and the reason I made the bonus module and not module 7, is you don't have to have the bonus module to be able to invest. But you do have to know why you want to invest. You have to know what country you want to invest in. You have to know what currency you want to invest with. You have to know what assets you want to invest with. You have to know how to find the right partner, and you have to know how to build a plan. So that's why we literally have this one-page document, because it's literally all here. Like, you have to have those things. The bonus, which is here, you don't have to have that. But I do believe that in terms of an investor, it's very important to know where the world is going. I hope everyone agrees with me on that, because if we're investing in Volkswagens now and it's making us good money, that's fantastic. But the chances are it's going to stop making us good money. So we need to understand what the big picture trends are. So I basically very consciously ended off with the bonus module saying, right, this is smart investing. Where is the technology going? Now, some people say to me, what does smart mean? And I like to keep it simple. Like, I got a smart watch, I got a smartphone, I got a smart iPad, got a smart fridge, smart TV. So what is it really? It's mainly just technology coming to a space. So in terms of investing, why don't we just use technology, smart investing? If you know me well, does anyone think that the acronym actually means something? Does anyone want to actually give it a go? What do you think SMART stands for? Where's it gone now? I just need to find it. Where's it gone? Oh, there we are. Got it. Anyone? Anyone want to give it a go? Come on. I'm not seeing much interaction. I'll tell you what, do I need to bring beers to these Friday sessions? Okay, so smart investing. So we looked at it, we played around with this a couple of years ago. We had a bunch of community involvement. So let me give you a couple of the answers, and then you can tell me which one you like. So smart investing means sustainable, measured asset ranking technology. That was one. Strategic market and asset ranking technology. Strategic measured asset return technology. Sustainable maximized asset return technology. Systematic maximum asset return technology, systematic measured asset return technology. So they were all the different. And by the way, this was before ChatGPT, when humans actually had to think and had to come up with a bunch of options on our own. So what did we come up with? Strategic measurable asset return technology. Okay, so the whole reason for that was it was specific. So there's a target, a specific area for improvement. It was measurable, it was quantifiable, or at least suggest the indicator of progress. It was assignable, specify who will do it. It's realistic, so it's pretty much a SMART goal. State what results can realistically be achieved given available resources, and it was time related. Specify when the results can be achieved. So if you take what it stands for, which is strategic, measurable, asset, return, technology. I'll put it in the chat box just so that you can see. Was the one we finally settled on. There are. It's so if I just read you what it is. So strategic, target a specific area for investment with the best opportunities in the best markets with the best partners. Measurable, quantify or at least suggest an indicator of progress and return. Asset, specify the specific assets which are generating wealth. Return, state as a result can realistically be achieved given available resources. And then technology, using the most advanced technology to optimize the results and create a personalized plan to wealth. Come on, give me a thoughts. What do you think of that? You see, my brain, I would like to talk about what that actually means and its meaning and how it was all put together. And I know that most people would run away. Most people that understand me that have come to kind of the mastermind and the wealth weekends tend to find that there's always quite a lot of substance behind names. And you know, when you hear about Wealth 5.0, most of you would have been on entire challenges and heard about it and not even known why I use 5.0. And then when you come on a wealth weekend, you start to learn about these things. But anyway, you can see it there. I put it in the chat. I put it in the chat room. So I suppose my question I've got for the community, should I talk more about it? I don't, because I don't want to confuse people. I don't want to scare people. And so I just use smart. If you've seen me, most of you seen me present many times. I use smart, smartwatch, smartphone, smart TV, because that's what everyone already understands. But actually, that's what smart means behind the scenes in terms of getting there. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't plan on sharing that with you, but anyway, now you've got a better insight into how my brain works. Okay, so right, that's smart investing. Any questions on smart investing or anything else on smart investing? No? Good. Okay, then I want to bring you to the next resource. And this was something that I started sharing with the mastermind members last night. So apologies for some of you that I'm going to be repeating this, but I think it's very important. So over the last about 6 months, I've been building a library of value for people. So if I just close this up to start off with, make it easy. It's basically got about, I actually don't know, somewhere between 20 and 25 short documents. So you get started here. So I'd recommend that everyone gets started here. And if you look, and I'll bring this document up for you. It's basically like an introductory document. And the whole idea here is, I'm calling it the Wealth Transformation Pack, and it's a step-by-step journey. So it starts with mindset and purpose, then it goes to principles of language and investing, then it goes to passive income, then it goes to property, private equity, and alternatives, then it's playbooks and partnerships, and finally the 100-year plan. So if you look at how to use the pack, it tells you how to do it. But in simple terms, this is the table of contents. So stage one is mindset and purpose. So again, I don't know who was in the room, but I ran an exercise, certainly for our mastermind members, on how do you find your purpose? And there's a document on how to do that. There's actually a guided exercise. Then there's the investor learning journey. How do you accelerate
Sorry, Scott.
Yeah.
How you doing? We can't see what you're looking at.
What are you looking at?
We're just looking at the Wealth Going Global 5.0.
The 6 modules.
That's it. There's it now. Great.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, let me start again. So what I was trying to show you is this is what the library will look like. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to put it into school. But anyway, at the moment it's on my hard drive. But it'll look something like this. So this document will start off with right here. It says get started. And so you'll literally open it up and it'll take you through mindset and purpose, principles of language investing, passive income traps and building sustainable cash flow, property, private equity and alternatives, playbooks and partnerships, and 100-year plan. And then pretty much how to use the pack. And then here's the table of contents. So the stage one is mindset and purpose. So this is if you don't know your why or your purpose, then it can help you with that. Number two is the investor learning journey, how to accelerate your path to mastery. Number 3 is the investor mindset. How do you shift from the E, the employee, the S, the self-employed, and B, the business owner, to the I corporate? So this is around all the changes that you need to make, mainly in mindset. Then you go to stage 2, which is core wealth principles. So what school never taught you about getting rich. Alan, you'll enjoy this one. I know that you and I have had multiple conversations around why aren't we taught this in school. Then you got the foundations to financial freedom, the 6 pillars, and the bucket strategy. So this is very much what our family office teaches and what are one of the core themes that we talk about in the Wealth Weekend. Then we got the game, the Wealth 5.0 game. And this is all about assessing where you're at. I know we've done it, I don't remember, but I've definitely done it here. Was it last week or the week before that we did it live? And if you want to, we can do it again. Then we got the lingo. So what is the ROI versus the cash on cash versus the IRR versus the yield versus the cap rate? So again, that's a session I know we've had here, but it's there now with all the, effectively your own little, language, investment language, little Bible. And then diversification 5.0, like what is the future of investing, like top 1%? Then you go to stage 3, passive income and psychology. So what are the 6 passive income traps and the 4 essential elements to passive income? How do you go from burnout to breakthrough? How entrepreneurs can finally get paid while they sleep? And then the psychology of money and investing in uncertain times. Then we go to stage 4, the investment vehicles and strategies. What is private equity and property investing? And how can you use that to navigate volatility in uncertain times? London investing. This because so many people tell me that they're going to go buy a house in London. I specifically put this in as to how the smart money wins in property by holding, not flipping. And then advanced mastery playbooks and partnerships. So how do you structure your portfolio? That was created in this environment. It was a question Alan asked that was then turned into a document. Beyond the deal, how do you trust, track record, and community for the future of partnerships? And then Robert Kiyosaki's Wealth Playbook, a practical guide to financial freedom. And then Robert Kiyosaki's workbook, The Truth About Money, Crashes, and Cash Flow. And then finally, stage 6, the big picture, the future and longevity. You got Wealth 5.0, which is the one I just showed you, around the big picture trends that are happening around the world. You got the white paper, which is the 100-year life. And then you got my summaries from the Investor Summit at Sea. So that's the entire workbook from the Investor Summit at Sea. And you got the Investor Ultimate Wealth Action Plan. And then, your next steps are literally get started. So what I've created here is you've got the library. So you can see stage 1, and then you've got the 3 documents. Stage 2, and you've got the 5 documents. Stage 3 and the 3 documents. Stage 4, 2 documents. Stage 5, 4 documents. And stage 6, 4 documents. So there it is in totality. I don't actually know how many documents there are. So that's 3, 8, 11, 13, 17, 21. 21 documents, 3 weeks, one a day. It shouldn't, they're short docs. If you look at it, none of these docs are more than like 2 pages, 2, 3, maybe 4 pages tops. So if you go here, that's a 3-page doc. So I don't think these things will take a long time to read. And I haven't set them up to be hugely complicated. I've set them up to be really easy as good reminders. I do think this is the latest one I created, by the way. And so most of you won't necessarily have seen this one, but I actually can't even remember where I got this from, but it's the types of learning that shape investors. And it's how do you actually go from a novice investor to a seasoned investor to an experienced investor, and what are the journeys that the red is obviously bad, the green is what everyone tends to normally do, and the blue is how you can do it better. And I know we've been through it in one of our sessions, but you've got macro learning, big picture, micro learning, tactics, credentials, which is going to, school and university, and then community, coach, mentor, mastermind, which is the personal guidance. And then, it just talks about the journey, what you can do, the divergence, why some soar and others stagnate, the science of success, and then, what are you going to do next, basically, in terms of it. So each one of them is short, sweet, and to the point. This one is quite comprehensive because it's a question I get asked all the time, particularly with all the stuff I've done with Robert Kiyosaki around, how do you move through this quadrant? And so I went and actually did the work. What are the 10 core mindset traits of an investor? If you're an employee, how do you get to the investor mindset? And it literally tells you what to do. What are the traits? What do you got to do? If you're self-employed, what are the traits? And what do you got to do? If you're a business owner, what are the traits? And what do you got to do? What are the limiting mindsets that hold you back? 10 tips to move to the investor quadrant. And then final words. And then I also added my own personal story just as an example of what you can learn in that process. So I'm not going to go through each one unless you want me to, but hopefully you can see that they kind of go in hopefully a logical order between kind of setting you up core wealth principles, passive income, investment vehicles, advanced mastery, and then the big picture. So let me stop sharing quickly. And what do you think? I can retire now, I think. I've done my job. You've got all the information. Now you just have to read it and implement it.
Sorry, Scott, can I just ask, how do we access that pic?
Oh, you got to know the secret password, eh?
Okay, no problem. You can call me later.
I don't even know what the password is yet. No, I only finished doing it yesterday. So I mean, it's built. That folder structure is built on my laptop at the moment. I mean, all of the documents already exist. So, or most of them. I built 2 new ones yesterday. But other than that, they all already exist. The problem that most people have, Chiba, is that it's like a little bit all over the place. Where do I find it? And even our mastermind members, it happened yesterday, where one of the mastermind members said, "Where's that document on the investment language?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm solving this once and for all. Like, I'm going to create a library. I'm going to make it logical. Everything's going to be in one place." Because, I mean, if I'll let you know a little secret, my own team often doesn't know where to find them either. And so it was easier just to build a library. So, Chiba, great question. I don't know the answer yet. I will put it, I'll definitely be building into school, and it'll be both in Wealth Hackers and it'll be in Mastermind. And the good news is, because anyone that has joined the Wealth Accelerator has automatic access to the Wealth Hackers, so they'll get access to it. And obviously the Mastermind members will get access to it. So yeah, I just don't know yet what the easiest way, because I'd like a folder structure similar to what I just showed you, and I don't quite know how to do that. I'll probably have to create a whole in school.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I will show it. I'll try and make sure it's done by next Friday. But yeah, I do honestly believe that what I've tried to do, and it maybe, over time, maybe I'll add a few more to it. But I do really think you've got a lot of the fundamental building blocks of what it takes to build wealth. And how have I done it? Working particularly with the family office, there were a bunch of things I didn't know. But we started the mastermind in October. So believe it or not, next month's October, hey? Yeah. So we would have literally been going 3 years next month. Hey, we should hold a party. And so I've obviously learned a tremendous amount about being around them and learning what they do, and really learning what the top 1% are doing at a very different level. And so I've tried to take all of that, synthesize it, make it simple and easy for people to understand. And then obviously there's some other basics like the mindset that people don't have. Hang on, I'm just going to mute everyone again. And then that's why I created the library in terms of that process. So let me just see, there was a question here. I would have thought, yeah, so I'm just,
Sorry.
So, yeah, I would have thought sustainable would have a word you picked. Loretta, it was interesting because, I mean, for S, it was either strategic or sustainable. If you remember, it's sustainable when I gave you the different options up front. Sustainable was a word that was there. For us, the reason that I chose, and it wasn't just me, it was a whole community project we put together. But we went with strategic because it's more specific. It's smart investing. You want to be strategic. Investing is about strategy, and yeah, I mean you do need sustainability, but there's only one S. So I don't know if that helps. Maybe we should go strategic. Target a specific area for investment with the best opportunities in the best markets with the best partners and in a sustainable way. Maybe that's what we should do. In fact, I'm going to add it right now. There are a lot. I've added it. It's in. See, we could always co-create and get things better. Okay, then the next question was, Tracy, Scott, can you chat more about passive income? Starting to invest to get passive income, how realistic is it to think that a passive income can replace your salary? So, Tracy, it's a great question. And I think I learned a huge lesson from Derek the farmer, because often people think, well, Scott, I need all the money straight away. And then I realized what really happens when you start to earn passive income, like how that sort of, you build momentum. And so I love the story with, I didn't even actually know the story, but if you watch that testimonial, it was a mastermind session. And he was so excited. And he said, he feels like a kid on Christmas Day opening his presents. And he said, because he had got his very first payment into his wallet. And, I didn't know the number. And I don't always share the number, but he's given me permission to do it. The first return he got was $6. Now, $6 doesn't even buy a beer in England. It'll probably buy you a coffee, but you won't get a lot of change with $6. And and so really it's not a lot of money, but it's the principle. Because once you've learned that you can make $6, if you think about it from Derek's perspective, he spent 42 years digging a hole in the ground, planting seeds, closing the hole up, and then hoping it rained. Literally, like that's the job of a farmer. And now suddenly he was earning money while he slept. And as he said in the video, he had to think for it, but he didn't have to work for it. And that's the whole principle of making your money work for you. So for me, Tracy, what becomes really important here is to earn the first $6. Because once you've earned the first $6, you're like, actually, this is possible. Because we've all been indoctrinated, me included, that actually this is like too good to be true. I know. I went and bought all the bloody residential houses. I was like, there's nothing flipping passive about them. And actually that cost me more money than at one point when I had a whole bunch of shitty properties. I had to work in a job or my own company, but I still had to work to make money to pay for the houses. Like that is not passive, like at all. Okay. And it sure as shit not putting money into your pocket. And I think most of us have I mean, we could probably have a pity party where everyone sort of explains their negative connotations. And so that's why we've created, and over the years, we've tried to just tighten this up more and more. So let me get up another slide for you here quickly. So what we've done with the work recently over the last couple of months is this here. Hang on, not that. This here becomes so important because, and I'm answering your question, Tracy, I haven't forgotten. You want to get the wealth, the freedom, and the legacy, okay? Which is, how do you do that? Well, you got to get the foundation, you got to get the belief and the knowledge. Now, coming back to your very thing around passive income, the very first thing you need is belief. Because if you don't believe it's possible, it's never going to happen. And then once you've got the belief, and by the way, it's not a you've got it, you don't have it. It grows. Okay, as Tony Robbins says, you do something, you take action, you get results. You take bigger action, you get more results. You take more action, you get more results. And he calls it the upward spiral. What most people don't do is they do the opposite. They take no action, therefore they get no results. Therefore, they take no more action, and it basically creates a downward spiral, and they get no results. They lose their mindset down into the drink. So the second part is knowledge. The third part is a plan. Then you need access, then the system, then you got the accountability, and then you got the trust. Okay, now, for us, why we love what we do is helping people go from the 99% to the top 1%, and ultimately creating this bridge of freedom. Now, back to Tracy's question. The very, very first thing we do, step one, is to get people that belief. And how do we do that? Well, we get you on the platform. There's 4 simple steps, and we get you earning your first passive income. Our belief system is, once you've got your first passive income, like a Derek, and like I said, I learned it from Derek because I actually realized what an impact it had on him. Once you got that, then you can go and get the knowledge, something like Wealth Going Global. Then I've built a new program now around the plan. And what I mean by the plan is actually knowing your numbers, your dashboard. What the people in the mastermind are getting that automatically because I'm meeting with Kalia. But for everyone else, I'm going to put a 2-day workshop together to help people create that. Then you got access to the deals. Then you got the system, the platform. You got the coaching and accountability, which is for the wealth hackers and all the mastermind. And then you got the trust, which is the wealth weekend. So there you got your seven steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's how you get your wealth, freedom, and legacy. So back to your question, Tracy. That's why we've got this here, which is our investor roadmap, which is the course that Alex and I put together. And look, if you haven't done it and you're just starting, I would literally go here and go start here. And I've put together 7 lessons just around, is this right for you? Get clear, get ready, get results, 6 needs of investor quadrant, and then play global monopoly. And then Alex has put this course together, which is literally getting started. So how do you get on the platform? How do you fund your wallet? How do you invest? And then he's available every Wednesday to ask questions. It's like, oh, I'm battling with this, or how could I do that, or whatever. So to try and answer your question, Tracy, that's about getting started. That's about getting the belief, because without the belief, nothing's possible. Then the next question is to start doing the planning, and whether you do that yourself through like our freedom, calculator, or in your case, you're a mastermind member. You're going to sit down with the family office, and they're going to actually help you plan it. And they're going to say, okay, look, this is the type of assets you need to look for. This is the type of returns you need. This is how much time you need. This is how much you need to invest to help you achieve your outcome. So I do believe it's possible. I've seen it happen multiple times. I think most of us overestimate what we can achieve in a year, but we underestimate what we can achieve in a decade. And I believe that people, including myself, have peace of mind knowing that they've got a plan and that they're working the plan. They're not where they want to be, but they're making progress towards a destination. That gives people peace of mind, where the vast majority of people are just walking around in darkness with anxiety. So I don't know if that answers your question, Tracy. Tracy, you have answered so clearly. It really helps me understand the concept better. I'm just loving getting the belief part going. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, so the belief is really important, and the credit here actually goes to Shane. I have a Springbok rugby player. What's happening?
Hello.
What do you have to do?
Nothing.
Is Nelly with you? With the belief, it was Shane's idea, where he was like, often people would join us and they would do all these courses, let's just call it Wealth Going Global, and then they had to go and learn all the stuff, and they had to go read all the documents, and most of them fell off the bus. I can draw the picture for you if you want me to. In fact, I'm going to find it for you quickly. Let me just find it very quickly for you. Where am I going to find it? Yes. Then only needs to come and get the card. So I'm going to share with you my my document here, because I think it's quite useful just to see this again. Okay, so let's do this quickly. Okay, can I just confirm? Can you see, what are you seeing?
You're not sharing yet. It says Scott Picken has started screen sharing, but it's a black screen with white text.
Let me try again. It's
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay, we see your diagram.
okay. So what we drew back in October last year, funny, it's these things are a year old already. We said you got Jill or Joe Slope, and they're here in their bed, and they want to invest in an asset, whatever that asset is, a building, a house, private equity, whatever. They want to get paid while they sleep. And the problem is they come to us and they go on all these different courses and they join the mastermind, they join wealth hackers, and they do all blah, 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 blah. And they get lost and they get overwhelmed, they get confused, and they fall off the bus. They don't do anything. So the question we asked ourselves is, how can we help Jill or Joe Soap invest and earn a passive income in 30 days? That's a challenge we set ourselves. And that was how we came up with the 30-day passive income challenge. And then from there, we actually then turned that into, because the 30 days, so the problem we had was we were going to do it once a month, every month, but people start at different times. Some people want to go quicker, some people want to go slower. So what we did is we turned it into a more of a, evergreen approach where people can join anytime they want. And then there the lessons are that Alex used to take them through, literally over the month, week 1, week 2, week 3. So he literally teaches people, and then he's live every Wednesday to be able to help. And back to Tracy's point, we literally have endeavored for the last year to try and get people their return as quickly as possible, because once they get that, then the belief kicks in, because otherwise everything else is just numbers and knowledge, and it doesn't change anything. So I hope that helps, not just for you, Tracy, but for everyone, as to why it's literally step 1. And even for the mastermind members, we re-engineered the 9-step process, because we did actually have people investing after that met Calio. And we were like, no, actually, why don't we get them set up? That's why it's step 2. Step 1 is you meet me. You want to know where I want you to know where you want to get to. And step 2 is the team literally gets you on the platform and gets you investing so that you can, just start to taste what it feels like. So by the time you're with Calio and you're actually doing the proper planning, you actually know it's possible. Did I miss the news? Is there like some terrible tragedy that's happened that I'm not aware of? Because everyone's very somber today, and the energy is quite low. Anyway, so in terms of the kind of going forward now, what we will be doing, and what I think will be a good way forward, is I'm going to be taking those that whole 21 pages, and once a week I'm going to be working back through them. So I'm going to basically logically kind of start with each of them, because obviously we've just done the Wealth Going Global, and every week kind of I use the theme as that theme for the week. I like to turn up to these Q&As where, I'm here to answer any questions you got, but I want to bring one kind of main theme to the table. And then, going forward, I'm going to use that library almost and go through that library again. Because if you've heard it before, repetition is the mother of skill, and there's lots of people that won't have heard it. So that's going to be my intention moving forward. I also wanted to just review back to yesterday in terms of the mastermind. So there's 2 documents which the mastermind members haven't even seen yet. And yes, you got to love technology nowadays. It's a lot of work for me, but it I think it's very valuable for people. So I haven't actually shared these yet, but I will. So yesterday we did the market commentary, and this is from our family office. And if you look here quickly, August saw strong earnings momentum and solid equity performance, particularly on the US and China. Current volatility and macro noise continued, but fundamentals remained resilient. The narrative of the market climbing a wall of worry persists, with investors cautiously optimistic but concerned about valuations, inflation, and political tailwinds. Sector leadership continues to concentrate on US tech and European defense, while diversification remains key amid regional uncertainty. I'm not going to go through all the indices, although they all are trending in the right direction at the moment. What are the macro themes? Well, US earnings outperformance continues. Inflation cooling, so rates, interest rates are being cut in America. Europe's got a split personality, so the defense is really working, but some of the other EU sectors are down. China continues to grow. I think China's grown by 8%. So that's looking good because China's been very stagnant. And tariff and trade negotiations they're sort of kicking the can down the road. So there's reduced likelihood of further escalation. Market remains sensitive to any shift in Trump. And then sector and regional capital flows. US still leads, but US defense distorts, so the people are still going to the US. Currency volatility returns, so the dollar is weakening. And then private equity and alternatives remain good opportunities to have uncorrelated investments. Investor action points: diversify across sectors, not just regions. Watch the Fed, so looking at another likely cut coming up. Rebalance on strength, so use the strong market conditions, especially in the US and China, to rebalance portfolios. Don't time currency moves and rely on data, not drama. And then finally, the smart investor reflections. We may be climbing a wall of worry, but data, not drama, should drive our decisions. When the market is nervous and earnings are still beating expectations, that's a sign of strength, not fragility. And don't confuse sector performance with regional performance. Europe is not equal to diversified exposure if it's all defensive stocks. Okay, so that's the... any comments from the mastermind members? Anything you want to add to that? This is the summaries. So we obviously go through this live with the family office, but then I build the summaries as, again, a cheat sheet in terms of where we're at. Then the other one that I wanted to go through was MedTail. So this one's really interesting. So this is a combination of medical and retail, which doesn't exist in England. It doesn't really exist in South Africa, to my knowledge. But it's quite clever, actually, because it makes quite a lot of sense. So what is it all about? Well, it's the two of them kind of being balanced together. So again, reminding you that at the mastermind level, every month I bring a new partner to the table that teaches us about a different asset class in a different area. So we're always learning. One of the things that I learned yesterday, and I love it actually, because I think I know quite a lot, and I don't want to be arrogant, but I've been doing this a long time. But yesterday I actually learned a tremendous amount that I didn't know. And one of them was, I always talk about population growth and how important population growth was, but I'd never thought of it in terms of container loads. So basically, if there's a whole bunch of containers going into a city, the city's growing. And if there's a whole bunch leaving, then they're declining. But what he said, which is really interesting, is by the time the moving trucks arrive, you've missed the boat. You need to be further up the value chain. So again, location is critical. That resilient trends. Medical users sign long-term leases, investing heavily in their fit out and really moving once established. There's much lower vacancy risk. There's favorable rent structures. There's value add through conversion. So you convert half the retail into medical. The operator is a key relationship, and it's very recession resilient. Action points for investors: identify demographic growth areas, target strong retail nodes, work with experienced operators, use long-term debt, diversify tenant types, explore conversion opportunities, underwrite to tenant strength, understand medical fit outs, plan for tech-enabled delivery, and think long-term. MedPlay is a 10 to 20 year trend, not quarterly fluctuations. And then substance on the details. So the partner that I brought has been in the game for 25 years, got a lot of track record. I'm not going to go into all those details. He went through some live details, which I thought was really interesting. And then top 10 reasons to invest in MedTail. You've got demographic tailwinds, as in more and more people in the baby boom generation are needing medical, and they want to do it. So MedTail is always within, they call it the 2 mile radius of your house. So it's kind of where people live. So 2 miles is about 3.6 kilometers. It's essential services. You've got sticky tenants, which means they don't leave. You've got long-term leases, 7 to 12 years. You've got attractive yields, better than residential. You've got triple net lease structures, which basically means you don't have to, the tenant pays all the costs. What you get in your pockets, what you keep. Institutional demand is rising, so there's more and more capital coming into the sector. That's always a very good sign. Low correlation with economic cycles, so it doesn't matter whether the economy is going up or down. Think about yourself. If you need a doctor, do you make a plan? Yes or no? Added to that, if you need convenience, like if you need bread or milk, like you still go and get it. Multiple tenant types, so you've got nice mix. And then, how's the sound, Kelly?
It's perfect on my side. I hear you perfectly.
Okay,
Perfect, yeah.
no problem. Just some people are saying it's not. Okay, and then lastly, high impact, low volatility. So socially meaningful investing with reliable income. So it's quite, it's good to know that you're adding value within a community, you're adding value to people, and it's a good way to make money. And then just some great quotes. I mean, there's why trust the partners. For me, that's really, really important. But then great quotes. Healthcare tenants don't move. Once they've fitted out their clinic, they're there for a decade or more. Think about back to when you were a child and think about the medical premises you went to. I virtually guarantee you, in my case, the doctors passed away, but the medical place is still a medical place. You can't outsource a root canal to India. I think that's funny. MedTail is about trust. The patient trusts the provider trusts the location, and the investor trusts the lease. Retail real estate is evolving. Smart investors are already ahead, buying the next generation of essential services of real estate. And then this isn't a yield grab, it's a fundamentals play, solid tenants, sticky income, and future-proof demand. And then it's just got some questions you should ask, why is this different to residential? What does it mean? Blah, blah, blah. And then key insights. So I quite like the key insights. MedTail is a defensive yield. So again, it works in all markets. Its health is local, so it's always localized. Conversion creates value. So by converting kind of retail into med or a combination of the two, he likes to go 50-50. You actually create value. Data and demographics win. So it's all about knowing your catchment area. And then institutional capital is flowing. And that's always a very good sign. If the institutional capital is flowing, that the value of the buildings is going to go up, which means the value of your rents, your money is going to go up. The last two things that I liked about what with regards to Steve is he's got a number of ways to increase the rental income. And by increasing the rental income, you're increasing the value of the building. So you always want to deal with an operator that thinks out the box, that creates a way to add value. A good example of that was they buy shopping centers from the 1970s. And in those days, you had to have far more parking bays to get planning permission. Nowadays, because of Uber and so many other things, you don't need as many parking bays. So they take a part of the parking lot and they sell it to Starbucks or they lease it to Starbucks. And then Starbucks builds, literally, if you've been American, you'll know what I mean. They literally build a Starbucks in the middle of the parking lot, but it's like one of those drive-through things and it works like a charm. And now suddenly you've got all this extra income from what used to be just your parking lot, like earning you nothing. In fact, your parking lot probably costs you money. So I really like that as kind of a strategy in terms of, the way they do that. And then the last thing that I thought was really useful is that they don't go after big shopping centers. So I think in retail, you've got to be very careful of e-commerce and the fact that, e-commerce kills people, businesses, because obviously you can just buy everything online. But something I took away, and I don't know about the other mastermind members, but this is a big wake-up call for me, was he was like, when we had COVID, we wanted to get out of the house. And so these 2-mile locations are as much about people wanting to get out the house, meet other humans, go and do their shopping, go and pick up their medical supplies, pharmacies, etc. And, it doesn't matter how good technology gets, even if drones are prepared to deliver, we want to leave our house. And I never thought of it like that, because I thought, oh, it's convenience. These things are all going to get wiped out by drones or whatever. But that's not actually the truth, because then we'll still look for excuses to go out and socialize. Does that make sense? It's a big penny drop for me. There were 3 big penny drops for me yesterday. One was those container and coming in and out of the ports. 2 was the Starbucks and putting a Starbucks in the parking lot. I was like, wow, that's genius. And then 3 was the fact that e-commerce and drones are not going to kill the convenient shopping centers. So what do you think of that? You've just given a very quick summary of the mastermind yesterday and what we went through in terms of both the money side of things, the capital markets, and then obviously a deal. And I think the biggest value that I can bring in terms of our community is finding those type of partners. So, because none of us, I guarantee it, even if we had $100 million in the bank, would be able to beat Steve at what he does. I'm going to repeat that just in case anyone misheard me. If we had $100 million and we all flew to America, I guarantee you we would lose against Steve, because the guy's been doing it 25 years. So in my opinion, why even compete? Why not just partner? It's like a no-brainer to me. And again, remember I teach you the old school way of doing it and the new age way of doing it. So the old school way of doing it is people raise money and they fly overseas and they're like, right, we're going to buy this building and we're going to compete with you, Steve. And they don't realize there's a bunch of foreigners, like they don't even want you in their country. So that you're like on the back foot before you even start. And it's hard to get finance as a foreigner. You just literally got so many headwinds. It makes no sense. And yet everyone does it. And, versus just going, hey, dude, you're like a nice guy. I like you. I trust you. Got a track record. Can I partner with you? It's like a no-brainer to me. So, yeah. I know I'm trying to indoctrinate people, but it took me a long time to realize the new way. And it's amazing how much resistance people have to that. But the more I do it, the more it's like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. When's he going to give us a deal? Jane was asking. I don't know. You see, the problem, Jane, that all of the partners have is they are all, so all the deals that we do with partners like this, they only make money when the investor makes money. So the old school way of doing it, by the way, was that they just go raise money, buy anything, because they make money by doing the transaction. And that's a problem, because they're going to sell you shit. They're going to help you invest in shit. They don't care. They've earned a commission. But if you're dealing with partners that only make money after you make money and that are putting their own money into the deal, then they get very specific as to which deals they want to do. And because of that, they don't do a lot of deals. The average partner I deal with does maybe 2, sometimes 3 deals a year, tops. And they can't guarantee when the next deal is coming, because it's only as good as when the next deal comes. Does that make sense? I was speaking to Claire, the self-storage guy, last night. And he was like, I don't know when the next one's coming. We're looking, but nothing's crossed the due diligence tick box yet. And so back to your question, Jane, it's how long's a piece of string, but it's a good thing if you think about it. You'd much rather have partners that are stress testing deals and only bring them when they know they're right than just bringing deals for the sake of bringing deals. Now, from our business perspective, our aim is to have somewhere between 15 to 20 quality partners. And if you think about it, if they're doing 2 to 3 deals a year, we're going to be bringing somewhere between 30 to 45, 50 deals a year. And in our opinion, that's plenty. Probably too many, to be frank. But you know what I mean? And that, we're not at 15 to 20. We've probably got closer to 10 quality partners now. I'm always looking to grow that. But yeah, as Christopher said, quality over quantity if you're from South Africa, I tend to call it, if you come with us, you go shopping at Woolworths. We're not interested in lots of variety. We're just interested in quality. If you're from England, I don't know, help me out, England. What is it? Whole Foods. I don't know, somewhere that focuses on quality. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. I can't remember all the superstores.
Marks and Spencer's.
Marks and Spencer's. There we are. Harrods.
Oh yeah, there we go.
And if you're from America, I don't know. I don't. You can see how much shopping I do. I have no idea. Like
Macy's.
Saks. Yeah. Well, I'm getting Whole Foods is closing down everywhere. Oh, is it? Oh wow. Why is that? I didn't know that. Whole Foods is the only place in America to be able to find bloody healthy food. Oh, too expensive. Yeah, no, that I'll give you. Prices. You go there and you like drop $100 buying lunch. Okay. What else can I help with? I can see we're on the hour. Is there anything else that I can help with other than you educating me on shopping? Anything else, Kelly? Anything else that I've forgotten about?
The only thing I would say is we've got quite a few clients now that are at different stages with Wealth Going Global. Some have started from the weekend, some the previous weekend, some a couple of months. Is there any advice you'd give? Because I get a lot of messages saying, Kelly, I'm on the Zoom. I have no idea what's going on. Please help me. I don't understand. So I know it's just a process.
Sorry, which Zoom?
This particular one, but not that they didn't understand you, just that it's the first Zoom they've attended ever with us.
Yeah.
So my question is just maybe you can just reassure and say, they don't have to try and understand everything right now. We can come to the Zoom today, the Zoom on Wednesdays with Alex, and don't put so much pressure on yourself. And I am here to help always. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, let me show you something. So we run a calendar, and whether you're in Wealth University, Wealth Packers, or the Mastermind, it's the same. So every Wednesday, Alex is available. Okay, and that's to try and help people with.
Okay, we can't see your screen again. Sorry to be the interrupter.
Seriously, got to get them to reconfigure these screens. But anyway.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so let me just start again. So you go here to calendar, and you can see every Wednesday, Alex is available, and he takes you through the platform, how to invest on the platform, how to set up a wallet, how to invest. Okay, so that's that. And then every Friday, I'm available. I wasn't last Friday because I was in Botswana, but every Friday I'm available. And the idea here is weekly kind of strategy. So it's kind of a little bit higher level. What can we do, etc. Now, back to your question. When you learn anything, and when you start anything, it can feel overwhelming. I guarantee you, and I can just see shown as in the top left corner, I guarantee you when it first come on board, it's like, there's things everywhere. What do I do? How do I do it? It's human nature, okay? And, Alan and I have had multiple conversations around this. Like, we're always looking to how can we make it easier? How can we make it better? How can we simplify it? But it's a lot, and I acknowledge that. And, in some ways, people could say, well, Scott, dumb it down, make it easier. But we also, I really believe in providing value and substance and the different levels depending on what people need. And so one of the reasons we do the live sessions on a Wednesday and on a Friday is so that people can ask any questions. So the essence of the Q&A is you can ask any question. Literally, there's no question you can't ask. And if it's the wrong question, which, by the way, the only wrong question is the question not asked. But even if you asked me a question and you were a shareholder, I'd go, listen, I'm not going to deal with that here. That's for the shareholder meeting. Or if you asked me about a specific previous deal, I'd say, that's not for this meeting. I'll deal with that in the deals meeting. So I've still got no problem holding the line and saying, look, so you basically can't get it wrong. There's literally nothing you can say. And if it's your first time, you might find that you think the question's stupid. I guarantee you'll ask a question and there'll be people on here that have been here a year and they'll be like, oh, wow, I'd forgotten that. I guarantee it. So repetition's the mother of skill. So my invitation to you is, ask away. If you don't want to publicly talk, because by the way, if you don't know how to use Zoom, there's a raise your hand like that. And you notice it automatically puts that person to the top left corner. So I can automatically see if someone's raised their hand. So you can either talk to me or you can just type it in the chat box and I can happily answer as and when.
Thank you. That helps. Or you can message me and I can ask Scott.
Yeah. We did think about putting fancy things in, like we actually have done it already, like Google Forms and this and that. And it's just too complicated. Like, it's just easier just to turn up and ask. And if you can't make it, you can still send a question. I'll still answer it. We record these sessions and you can watch the recording.
And then the other question I get a lot is about the recording. So we record everything and we keep it all on our YouTube channel. I don't know if that's worth sharing, or do you prefer people go to school for the recordings?
So we put it on
Okay.
school. So where do I put it? I don't remember now.
On YouTube, on the Wealth Migrate YouTube.
No, but in school.
On school.
I think no, that's the wrong one. Sorry, Wealth Hackers. If you go here, you see the tab, and there all the recordings are.
It's the wrong screen again.
Oh, for bastards. Okay, let me do that again. So you just go to community, and then you see these tabs at the top here, and you literally go weekly wealth strategy, and then you can see all of them here.
Can you only see that if you're a wealth hacker? You can't see that if you're in the Wealth University.
Yeah, well, everyone that's here is part of the paid for community.
I know, but I'm just asking because these are the questions I get.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
this is a paid for, people have paid for to be here. That's why I'm wearing my Wealth Hacker shirt. We try and empower everybody, but there's a line between how much I'll turn up for free.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's that question. I think there were two. Oh, sorry, Jane had a question here. How is our fundraising going for Clifford, the young man at the Wealth Weekend? Yeah, there's a cell phone being delivered. Actually, Caroline has found a cell phone for him. I'm not aware. To be honest, Jane, I've literally been traveling until Wednesday afternoon. I've hardly spoken to Alex. Yesterday was the mastermind, so I literally haven't touched base. I can promise you in about 2 hours, I'll be having a castle light, and 3 hours, whatever, and downing tools, because it's been a long 3 weeks. Literally, I was trying to do the maths. I haven't had a day off in like 21 days. It's been a long time. But back to that, I don't know the answer. I do know we got a cell phone coming. I do know Alex is pushing quite hard to make it happen, but I don't know where we're at,
And he's very enthusiastic. He's joined school. He's part of the community. He's on the WhatsApp community. So he's very eager, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, no, and I want to help him. I want to get him going with the design and stuff as well, because he said he can do our designs, and let's see what happens. Kevin, how was the weekend with Robert? I don't know what you mean by that exactly. I think there would be two things that I would answer. One is Robert's getting really old. He's now kind of being pushed around in a wheelchair, and I don't see many more trips in him personally. In fact, it was incredible actually how much he had changed from June till now. I mean, I was with him for 9 days in June, and from June till now, it's like you would think it was like a 2-year gap, not 3 months. So that would be my main takeaway. And yeah, obviously the crowd in Durban was very excited to see him and all of that. But for me personally, nothing new. So I've just spent so much time with him. There was nothing groundbreaking that I hadn't heard already. And yeah, at a personal level, I was very disappointed. Because I just spent 9 days with the guy, and then in Durban I came up, shook his hand, and he was like, "Hi, pleased to meet you." I was like, "What?" So really, I didn't make a very big impact in 9 days. Anyway, so yeah, it was a little bit like, whoa, okay, that was a bit quite a lot. Yeah. Anyway, Johnny says probably because he's old. Anyway,
It's probably something else. I wouldn't take it personally.
I know I'm not taking it personally, but like
People think you're a Springbok rugby player. Go with that.
No, but I think back to Kevin's thing. It's the aging thing it's actually incredible how fast it's happening there. So yes, he is a very difficult character. And Rainer, no, there's not a deal update. It's next week. How old is he now? He's 78, I think, 78, 79. Okay, awesome. I think it's time to wrap it up for today. Well done to everyone. Thanks for all the questions. To the people who've joined us for the first time, welcome. By the way, the Q&A session has no structure. So I go with the flow. I don't come prepared. I tend to come with one theme. But if you end up asking me questions for 50 minutes, then the theme will just, will go forward to the next one. If you want to put your camera on and engage with me, it's great, because as much as I love my own voice, I don't really like talking to myself. So yeah, it's it's nice to see that there's actually other humans in this room. But anyway, yeah, we'll see you next Friday, and have a wonderful week. Yes.
Just there's no next meeting now on the deals, am I right?
No, that's next week. It's next week.
No, Rania just asked the same question I was going to ask. So Rania, thanks for thinking of we're on the same wavelength.
Are you not on the WhatsApp group? I'll add you if you're not.
Yeah, no, I am. I believe
Okay.
I've seen it. Yeah. But
It's
no,
the 3rd of October, next Friday.
We've postponed it for next week, isn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
So it's my fault, guys. To do these things properly, I need to sit down with Paula properly, and we do them once a month, and the intention is to be properly prepared. It's been impossible for me. I literally, I even did the video on Wednesday, and I forgot to tell Kelly about it. It's just been insane. So it's just not possible, and there's no point in two of us standing here and going, we don't know. What's the point of having the meeting? Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So we've already set aside the time. We're meeting on Monday afternoon. It'll be next Friday. But we got to work in a team. And last week specifically, I was in Botswana and there was literally no reception. Alan and I were meant to have a meeting. It was impossible. You couldn't even have a WhatsApp call, let alone a Zoom meeting. So yeah. Anyway, okay, everyone, have a wonderful week. I'll bounce, and Alan, I'll see you online in 5 or 10 minutes. Just go to the toilet quickly, please.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.